The egos is very, very dangerous and so insidious.
Welcome to another episode of Nothing But the Truth with Marvin Herbert. Today we got former boxer AJ Carter in the building. Thanks for coming up.
Always, bro.
Come on, it's a kind of I don't even know how to explain this podcast. It's more about learning, isn't it?
I would definitely say that.
What we learn from our downfalls, and what we can take as So when I talk about, or when people talk to me about how do I get over things and how do I get through things and how do I sort of achieve things, and it's about having that positive mental attitude and always looking for the positive avenues out of any dark or deep situation, right?
Anything, the positive.
So what we'll do, we'll take it back to the beginning, so our viewers can get a little bit of background on you. Obviously, I know you a little bit more than most. So tell us a little bit about your upbringing, your childhood, where you grew up, and how you grew up.
Grew up in South London, like many, in a single parent household. At times I grew up in between parents with my mother's, which was in Vauxhall, Stockwell, and my father's in Brixton and in Tulsa. Just carrying on, being a part of my environment, witnessing my environment. I remember being naturally, how I would describe, or how we would describe it, as soft, but like very like just tame and quiet and just like laughing. I would say the environment, especially around Brixton, the hostility and the animosity that people just had in general, around my mum's area. Funny enough, growing up, I always felt as if I was too black for my mum's area and too white for my dad's area. So I'd never ever found a place to kind of fit in. I was fortunate enough when I was younger that my mother would always make sure that I got taken away to Italy to see my family out there. Again, still situation would always be cool until like the last few days, and there'd always be some type of like nigga this or nigga that or blah blah.
So you're Italian?
Yeah.
So where's your parents from?
My mother's half Italian, half Egyptian, and my father's Jamaican.
Sick. So your mum made a point of taking you back to Italy regularly?
Yeah, she made a point of that and made sure that I was able to speak Italian just because she wanted.
Yeah, because you're fluent in Italian as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
like proper fluent. That surprised me as well when I got to know you. Yeah.
Yeah. Between then, just like I said, just taking in my environment. I remember schooling especially. More specifically about school, I think because teachers, they have their teacher's manual that they teach from. A lot of them back then, especially now, weren't able to really surpass that. I remember, especially in maths class, asking my teacher why x times y equals to 3. He would explain it and said, "Do you understand?" But I would tell him that I didn't understand. I get what he was saying, but I never understand. I'd get thrown out for disrupting the class. Ended up getting kicked out. I made it to February of year 8. Went to a centre, pupil referral unit. Very shortly after that, I got told I wasn't allowed on the premises for more than 3 hours a day. So they said I could pick my times. I could either be at school from 9 till 12 or from 12 till 3. Pick 9 till 12, and then from there, I was pretty much out there on the roads, really. Just, again, taking in more of the environment. I've been pretty much this size from around about the age of 14 or 15.
Oh, really? Well, you ain't grown much since 14, though?
Like, slightly more, but in terms of height and generally width, I've got clothes that I had when I was 15 or 16 that still fit now. Some of them are big. So, wow. From a very young age, from around the age of 13, I was always around the olders or around the men who I shouldn't have been around, like 20s and 30s.
Olders?
20s and 30s.
They're what I call the groomers now.
Well, that's exactly what they were, although they didn't see it and I didn't see it. Just because I fit in with them, I looked like their friend. I remember, I think up until the age of like 16, I believe, I used to have to show females my age, my bus pass, to be able to chat them up because they say, no, you're not my age. You're a big man. You're being dirty.
Yeah.
Just, no, I showed them my little bus pass. I got a child one.
Deep. Deep. So then you went through school. You went through the people referral units.
Yeah, like I said, I got chose from being there from 9 till 12. From 12, I was out on the road.
Yeah, I've been through all that myself.
I think, and after a while, they just ended up saying, don't even bother coming back. I stayed in there long enough to be able to go back to do my GCSEs. But it weren't really long until I ended up in jail. I had already accepted that I was going to jail. And said, oh, it's cool. Like this is part of my life. I'm gonna be going to jail, which I think that in itself is just a total madness as a child.
How old was you when you thought that?
Again, 15 years old, I believe. I just said, I see all my friends, all my friends' brothers or dads or uncles, family members going jail. This is what I'm doing. Like I'm on the road, so it's cool. Don't worry, not a problem.
Everyone's doing it. So, what's normal in it? That's what we make normal. It's crazy. Normalised mentality of insanity, bro. So what was your first bird for?
I ended up in jail for 2 weeks for some GBH, something like that. And I remember coming out after my 2 weeks thinking, that's it, 2 weeks is cool. I think like a couple of years after that, made it around doing my moves and whatnot. I ended up getting caught, going to jail for some robberies. And I got a 5-year sentence, which was under the old law, so I had to apply for parole, but I didn't get it. Ended up doing 3 years and 4 months. But I remember first going in thinking, that's cool. 2 weeks was nothing. I'll fly through this. Bro, before I even made it to the year, I was like, no, this is just not stopping. It's getting long. It's getting long. I got transferred from Felton to Portland. And I remember when being in there, that's when I kind of thought to myself, this. And I told myself I'm gonna do this again. This is long, and the man them who I've never had respect for money. Like I get what it can give you, but I've never respected it because I've seen how people can turn with money, either getting it and all of a sudden now they're bad men, or they got a certain way or a certain swagger with them, or how people would react when you have money and they're around you. I've never really liked that because I've just always been the same, and I don't see why people couldn't be the same. But that aside, I thought to myself, wow, if I'm always wanting to make money, I can't come and do this again. That's long. What can I do? I remember being in jail, seeing all the youths in there were so sick at rapping. Like thinking to myself, they ain't gonna go nowhere, I don't believe, because they ain't really got no contacts in music, or they're not really gonna push, because they were talking about shotting and being on the roads and robbing and whatnot. So what's that gonna happen? I said, what do I have contacts in? My father was a boxer. So I thought, yeah, I like fighting. Yeah, cool. That's what I do. I want to be a boxer. I'm calling him saying, I want to be a world champion. I might say, yeah, cool, we'll get to it.
And how old was you then?
I believe I was 18, I think. 18 or 19.
So that's when you made a conscious effort.
Yeah, when I said to him, I said I just, the effort stemmed from not wanting to be in that position that I was in prison, being told. In Portland, they never even had no toilets in the cell. So having to ask when I can go to the toilet, having to ask when I can shower, when I can eat, that's long. I don't want that.
Well, you done well to bloody get on it early, bro, because I spent a lifetime with all that nonsense. But moving into your boxing, so how long was you boxing for? Because how old was I met you when I met you?
How old was I? 27, I think I was. That's 6 years ago. It was 26 or 20, 26, I believe. Yeah. 26
That's
or 27.
mad,
It's like that. It's like it don't even feel like, but it's been like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy. So, boxing. Yourself and your boxing career.
Yeah.
You weren't set up to be a boxer.
No. The thing was,
set out to be a boxer. You set out to be a world champion, right?
I set out to be a boxer. Cool, committed, doing my thing. Then during training, all of a sudden one day, I'm sitting on the toilet and I felt this just like it felt like my back was on fire. I got up and I couldn't move. I was paralyzed for like 1 week. I had a prolapsed disc, which was the disc pushing on one of the nerves in my spine. Couldn't walk. And at one point, for like near enough a month, I couldn't walk. Every time I stood up straight, my back would just bend over. Recovered slightly from that. Ended up going back on the roads through not training, because I was training every single 5 days a week, 6 days a week. Ended up going back on the roads. Ended up getting nicked for something that I didn't do. And I remember being frightened, just because I remember thinking, I want to do boxing. If I get a burden, I'll never do boxing. So I said to myself, when I come out, I'm never ever going to do anything or any crime, actively anyway. Again, I'm just going to focus on my boxing. Came out, trained, had 5 amateur fights, turned professional in 2013.
Oh, so I'd only just met you just after you turned pro?
Yeah.
Wow, you should have fucking listened a little bit more, son. Wow, I never knew that. I thought you was a little bit longer in the tooth than that.
No.
That's why you weren't listening.
Probably. To be fair, my belief into the not listening part is twofold. Some, I believe because of my ego. I think more so though, I believe because I spent what felt like a lifetime on the roads listening to set olders or set man them, thinking that they were my bona fide and they really meant good for I, but they didn't really. I believe my brain was just kind of fed up. I'm not saying that you weren't trying to steer myself in the right direction, but I kind of was fed up of having to listen to people who I believe they're steering me, but they might not be. So
wow. And do you know what I think now? Yeah, and everyone always says shouldn't think of the shoulda, woulda, couldas, right? But obviously you've gone through life and you've learned a lot more after boxing about yourself and about being the best version of you can be. But
definitely.
We do miss out on opportunities in life, but it doesn't mean you're not going to fulfill your destiny or your goals in life, right? So what you've been through, there's learning lessons. Now, if you'd have learned the right way, and I say it with a smile on my face, you may have become a world champion, right? But now, you never become a world champion. You've got to learn now how to manifest your destiny into another
reality.
Yeah, it's like I always believed, right? I always believed that I would be a criminal till the day I died. I never believed I'd be straight, ever. I never, ever in a million years did I consider hanging my gloves up.
Yeah, but
But what I'm saying is, right, so what I'm trying to show is the comparison in the mindset, right? So I never believed I'd be straight. The same way you believed you was the heavyweight. Do you understand what I'm saying? So now, what made me realise my reality was sort of getting shot a few times, then being put in a situation where I actually realised the devastation and the destruction I was causing. So I wanted to make a change. So the devastation I was causing made so much an impact on me, I decided to change my life and go in a different direction, right? And maybe that knockout from fucking Dubois was the bang on the head or the wake-up call to send you in your direction. Because if you weren't listening to the information, then you had to learn from that situation. Now, I don't like saying I told you so, but it's nice that you're still here going in a direction, right? And you're man enough, big enough and mature enough to actually say nah. So, I mean, because I do believe you should have listened a lot more. I really do. And it's like, when you've got a belief, and this is one thing that we cover on this thing about our mindsets, right? We believe in things sometimes that will just take us to our grave. So I believed all my elders loved me when I was a kid growing up. So I would have died for any of them. I put myself in harm's way, in the firing line on numerous occasions, right? Throughout maybe every year of my life, I put myself in the firing line and in prison because of other people's sort of like my relationships with other people, me believing that they love me, me believing I'm doing the right thing.
Because your belief.
My belief system, right? So your belief system that you was a heavyweight, okay? Nah. It's now the belief's gone. The statement you made earlier is about your ego, right? So obviously you've been on the road, you've been grafting, you've been around people gas you up, you've got a belief, now you're an heavyweight, right? You've knocked a few people out because it's easy knocking people out on the road, isn't it? Like, so you get, because I used to knock people out for fun as a kid, right? So that's part of the belief system. Right? I never believed, right, that I could get beaten up by most of the boxers on the telly. When I used to watch them on the telly, my belief system when I was at it, I'd be like, look at this prick, I'll punch his head in. But now I know boxing, yeah, I know they would have weighed me in, do you know what I mean? But the belief system we have is based on the experiences you go through and sort of the lessons you learn along the way. Yeah, so we all go through life with these mad belief systems, and it ain't until you're hit with a reality that you sort of wake up, change direction and move. So I'm glad, ironically enough, that I got shot. Because if I never got shot, I'd still be a criminal. So although being shot or getting shot was the most traumatic thing for me, the most devastating thing and the most traumatic sort of physical trauma I'd ever been through, I'm glad I got through all that. I'm glad I went through all that. And you made a statement earlier about your ego and what you've learned through the damage you sustained throughout the career and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's exactly it. It's it'll be difficult to say anything else. And for as much as my ego doesn't like this statement, I'm glad that what happened, because I wouldn't be sat here right now as how I am. Same way, like you said, you're glad that you got shot because you wouldn't be sat here right now as you are. Everything that has happened had to happen, otherwise it wouldn't. That's my belief, that's the way I see things. Because they do. There's no doubt in it. It's happened. So there's all reasons as to why things happen. Now it's either we know them immediately or later on we discover them through life, through learning, through other people's teachings.
Yeah.
But I just, in spite of how upsetting the ride can get, or as happy as it can be, I'm just grateful for it no matter what. And just do my best in the position that I'm in and whatever I am doing at the time. However,
so do you mind revisiting that Dubois Night?
If you wish, yeah.
Yeah, no, 'cause you know what it is? It's just, you know me, right? No, but you know what it is, yeah? It's just like,
yeah, but we've never spoken about it, to be fair.
no, I know we haven't, right? And that's why I'm smiling, right? Because it's like, you can anticipate what's coming, we can work out what, and it's like, because I actually remember saying, you don't fucking take it.
Yeah.
And I said, you're getting thrown under the bus.
I remember you saying that.
And I'm saying, no, they're using you, don't do it. They've got no love for you. Please, yeah, you're getting knocked out, you're not ready, because it's not that you wasn't ready mentally, right? Because I know, right? I know, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to go off subject for a minute, just so I can explain to my viewers, right, how I know, yeah, that you believed you was going to beat Dubois. And this is what I'm saying about the belief system, right? Now, the reason why I sort of believed that AJ had the belief system in place was that prior to the seriousness of his boxing, we went to France. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Right. So when we went to France, that sort of showed me what type of person you were. Right? So when you said to me, no, Marv, this is my destiny, this is my time, I knew it was pointless me arguing with you. Because we'd end up fighting, we would have ended up fighting. because you believed it was your time. You believed this was your moment. You believed it, and I could see it in your eyes. And I know if I'd have tried to stamp my authority and say, "Listen, you fucking idiot," we would have had a fight because I know we would have had a fight. It would have kicked off. I know that because you would have felt I was undermining you, disrespecting you, and not believing in you, and then you would have said, "Fuck you," and then you would have said, "Right, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to teach him a lesson." Do you know what I mean? Because of the sparring, we've sparred, we've trained, yeah. And when you train with people, right?
This is all in Marv's head right now. How it would have gone. This is Marv's version.
Right, we all have a belief system.
I can neither confirm nor deny what you're concocting. That's
no, but right, I do believe, yeah. Because I remember I was looking in your face and I was thinking, and you was like, "No, Marv, no, Marv," and I was like, "You know what? Just leave it." And when it happened, I was just like, "Fuck!" And it took me a while. Well, no, did I contact you or did you contact me? Because it was a while, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I remember I contacted you after I'd come back. Remember, that's why I said it was funny how you reacted when I was around your mum's. And I said, I've been in China. And you was like, "That's it." Also, I feel better now.
No, but what it is because it's not nice facing someone that can say, "I told you so." So I didn't know how you would have took that loss, right? So that's why you got the space and you went off and done what you've done. I don't know what you've done, but the fact that you've come back with the mindset you've got shows me that you are that person. And like I was insane, right? So why do I like AJ? Why do I give AJ the time? Why have we got the relationship we got, right? So yeah, someone got robbed for a few $100,000 a few years ago, and they put a tracker on their car, right? So the story was a friend of mine got robbed for just under £500,000, and basically the person put a tracker on their car, but then the tracker got wiped, so they had no information on the tracker. But fortunately for my mate, I helped design this said tracker, or the workings for the trackers, right? So we helped design the tracker, and then the person that designed the tracker fucked off to France, right? Because I was in prison when he fucked off, but he fucked off to France, and basically he knocked his partners in England and set up with a French firm in France. But anyway, what happened is, because I knew who he was, and I knew that all the data on that tracker has to be saved, yeah, for data protection by the company's server for 7 years. Right? They had to store all the information. They couldn't get rid of it. So that information that was on that tracker has to be stored for 7 years. So I know the person who's got the tracker server can reload the tracker from their server, right? So that's when my friend come to me, said he'd been robbed and the tracker's been wiped. Do I know anybody? Obviously, I knew about the tracker. So I've took the tracker. So I've rung my mate and said, "Right, remember such and such, have we done the tracker with?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Right, I need to find him." He said, "That's not a problem. I've got his address." I said, "Are you joking?" He said, "Nah." He said, "I know where he is." I said, "Shut up." I said, "Well, look, I need the information put back on the tracker." He said, "Well, you need to go over there." So, France, Paris, here we come, right? So, obviously, there's a lot of money at stake. I've been told I can have the money, yeah, because all the guy wanted was to find out who nicked his gear, right? Who nicked the Reddies, right? So I said, "Lovely, fair enough, not a problem." So I rang a friend of mine and I said, "Do you come into France? We've got to go and collect this bit of thing, do this bit of graft, get this Reddies." They said, "No, I'm not coming. I won't mention who it is because they might get upset." But yeah, he said, "I ain't going over there. You're off your fucking head. You're going to France. Are you mad? What, Paris? You're mad, mate. You're off your head. They're lunatics over there." So I said, "Well, I'm going over." I said, "Have you got anyone round you that can have a row? Because I just need someone to, like, basically have the row. Like, because I've got one leg and one eye, I just need someone on my right hand side who can have a terrible tear up. So he said, as it happens, I've got a boxing kid. So I said, yeah. So I said, all right, let me have a word with him. So I rung you out, and then we met, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I offered him percentages of the money that I was getting to come over. And what I said to him is that I said, you won't have to do anything, you just got to stand there. And this is what I liked about him. I said, all I want you to do is just say nothing to everybody. If someone says anything to you, just look through them. Don't even acknowledge them. Don't say hello, don't say all right, don't say yeah, don't say nothing. Just look at them, right? Don't say a word. That's all I want you to do, and you can have X, Y, Z. He said, all right, I'll do that. So he goes over there. Steam's in the office. I just sort of just demanded they get their boss on the phone. They got their boss on the phone. No, he said he was there. And he said, can we go outside? When he said, can we go outside? He said, no, you frightened the office. Look, can you do me a favour? So I just said, look, no disrespect. When I've gone in the office, I said, no disrespect. You see you. Yeah, you owe me, I can't remember how many millions I told him, but I said, I think about 4 million quid. I said, I've been robbed for 4 million quid. And if you don't put that information back on this device, the bill's down to you. Obviously, he said, can you go outside? I'll be out in a minute. Yeah, he said, you're frightening the office. So I know when I've gone outside, he's rung a few of his French bosses or the investors and said, look, there's a geezer here screaming and shouting. He said this, he said that. Obviously, they've either told him who I am, what it is, and what's going on. So they've just said to him, load it back up, give it back to him. When we went back in there, he said, yep, there you go. But the moral of that story was that we went into one of the deepest, darkest areas in Paris to stick it on a naughty firm that I thought we was going to have a bit of ag, but nothing we couldn't walk away from. And AJ stood staunch, stood firm, and impressed me with that stare. You know, like not even though, because I can't help smiling when I get a bit nervous, yeah, and it just makes me smile. But the way you just stood in that gaff and just sort of looks at everyone, I thought, this kid's just sick. I like this kid. Anyway, fast forward in that situation, I thought this kid needs help with boxing because you were telling me you was an heavyweight. I was looking at you thinking, you're not an heavyweight, you're a cruiserweight. But I'll train with him, and when I train with him, maybe you will understand. And you never. But we're here, we're still mates.
I wasn't supposed to.
But you was, I think you was. I think you, no, see, right, life has a funny way of working, right? Now, I was always supposed to be a man that helps people, right? Because in that criminal world, I was just a man that facilitated ag, resolution, or joy. So I either got you drugs, helped you inflict pain, or we stole money, right? So I was a benefit to everyone, right? And I forgot the purpose then.
Because I said I wasn't supposed to. I'll change it. I wasn't meant to.
I was helping everybody. And I was always meant to be that person helping everybody, giving everybody, doing everything for everybody. That's what I was always doing. I chose to use illegal products and grow in that environment. It's only after 40 years have I realised that I was supposed to be helping people in another way. Is what I'm doing now, right? Back to you, yeah. I do believe, yeah, you was here to inspire people because the thing I like most about you is your intelligence. Yeah, and the fact that you're bilingual. No, because it was.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Because a lot of people don't realise how intelligent you are because you're a boxer, right? But the intelligence that
No, it's okay.
It's just how it is. You're a boxer, so they don't expect an intelligence. They don't expect you to be bilingual. They don't expect lots of things. But because I've been around you, I've been around your family, I've been around your living life, sociable, personal, and family, and professional. I'm sort of admired how balanced and grounded you've always stayed and how focused you are in achieving. You know, so because my platform's all about inspiring and motivating people to do better and become better, you know, throughout all adversity, like, look, I was a failure in life. I was a failure in life and I got shot 5 times. And I went to prison most of my adult life. So in society's terms, I was a failure, right? So I failed in life, and then I picked myself up, brushed myself down, and I've started making moves in the right direction. And in the next 5 years, I'm going to actually achieve phenomenal things. But I've had to go through the losses to get to the goods. So where do we go with AJ now? What's happening with AJ? Where are we going? What's the plan for the future?
My path right now is still particularly a journey of self-discovery. I believe and firmly stand by the fact that I have not killed off my ego, but definitely conquered it and have it firmly under control. More so because of the whole injury, mental health route that I went down, which helped a lot to look into my brains, psychology. The ego is very, very dangerous and so insidious and so discreet with how it kind of intertwines in itself and in your way of thinking and in your wording. That was my first part. My second part is getting as healthy as I can, both physically as well as mentally. So reading more books, improving on my mindset and my mind frame, improving on my outlook, improving on the transmission and the frequency that I'm putting out into the universe. Because we all put out frequencies and we all receive frequencies. Yeah. Now
we emit frequency.
There we go. We will emit frequencies and we will receive frequencies. I believe that the frequencies that you received are heavily influenced by the frequencies that you're emitting.
Yes, they are.
Which is why a lot of people tend to be around certain environments and certain people. There's also another thing which is being mindful of is not necessarily the energy, the frequency that you're emitting, but it's the people around you, what are they emitting? 'Cause that's not always the same that you're on. Or I like the word righteous as you believe it to be, because a lot of people hide themselves. It's being as good as you can be and having the people closest to you being as good as they can be, pushing yourself and pushing them. I'm involved in other projects. Funny enough, recently I ended up in prison for a little bit. One of the CMs in Pendlebury was asked if I could come back and help start a creative writing class, which was just powerful in itself. Obviously, because of the situation going on within the society and the world there, that's been put on hold for now, but that's been great.
Maybe that's the starting of something between us as well then, because you can do that under my brand if you want. Because I've got the green light under GMAC and the Marvin Herbert to go into prisons. I'm on the framework for all prisons and that.
That's cool. That in itself is powerful. So it's cool. I was previously on the Board of Education in Felton for 2 or 3 years as a governor, which was great.
Really?
Yeah. So I was going in and giving talks to the boys and helping out certain classes once every 3 months, so 4 times a year. That was in itself, from being in the position that I once was, and that was during my boxing as well. Now that I am here, like I said, I just want to be as the best version of who I am and be who I really am. Some of it I don't even know who I really. Some of it, I have my intentions and I have my goals. But my belief is as long as you keep focusing on the best and doing all the positive, like you said, negative situations, there's always positive in everything. There's good in everything, just like there's bad in everything, yin and yang. One cannot exist without the other. But as long as you stay focused, you behave right, you act right, you think right, and you be right, everything else will align and fall into place.
I believe that. I'm a strong believer in all that. And that's how I sort of live my life now. I've always lived my life like that, but I did choose to engage with illegal products.
That's because it was unconscious, but it was always there, which is the same with myself. Over the past couple of years, there's a couple of books that I read that they just merely confirm, okay, cool, I've known that for the past X amount of years. I believed that, but I wasn't kind of sure. I thought it might have just been how I was thinking, but cool. 1 book said it, 2, but 3, yeah, it's cool, that's the way. But ultimately, even if it was no belief behind it, how can being right be wrong? As long as you're good.
Well, what I focus on with my daughters is conducting and behaving correctly. So as long as they conduct themselves and behave correctly, they can have exactly what they want. No issues.
That's the truth of life.
Mad, isn't it? It's crazy.
You simplify it, it's like saying, if you plant the seed, as long as you conduct yourself and behave yourself correctly towards that seed, you can have what you want. What's that? Feed it some water.
Put it in the right soil. Make sure it gets sunlight. Make sure it gets oxygen.
So we are our own plants. I would say we are the trees.
We are the trees, mate. So we are what we eat and we are who we are.
Yeah.
So behave correctly, conduct yourself correctly and eat correctly and you'll be good. And that's what I'm learning now, you know. So that's why I do my exercises, I do my diet and I stick to it. Like everyone keeps commenting about me cat, like, what's in your drink, what's in your drink? And everyone says, what do you drink? All I drink is white tea, green tea and lemons with 9.5 pH level or boiled water. That's all I drink. I don't drink anything else, and coconut milk. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So they're the two things I drink, and then the only other drink I have, the green drink, is spinach, blueberry, raspberry, strawberry, avocado, almonds, and pea protein. Do you know what I mean? That's the only drinks I have. The rest of it's just vegan food. Do you know what I mean? And you'll see tonight, like, I don't buy food that I don't stock up on fruit for week. It's just I buy what I need for the next 2 days. Do you know what I mean? And I'll just juice blend. Absolute pleasure having you on, AJ. We'll have another catch up in 6 months' time. See where you're at. See what we can develop. But I'm up for that creative writing course in prison.
Cool.
And we can do that under a workshop. So we do a motivation speech, and then a creative writing course.
Perfect.
Yeah, so we can do a workshop all day in there. Get some good readies out of that.
Thank you for having myself on here.
That's it, come on. That's another episode of Marvin Herbert's Nothing But the Truth. Good friend.
Much love.
AJ Carter. I'm be back to see you soon, so stay safe, stay focused, stay positive. More importantly, stay tuned for the next episode, and we'll be back soon. Stay safe, stay focused, stay positive.
Love.